Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Zimbabwe is a failed state. The evidence that the country is a failed state is overwhelming. What is disappointing here is that instead of admitting the failures and addressing the problems, some of us are now obsessed with denying the reality. It's as if to say by denying it, they'll change anything. In 1975, Ian Smith said if there was black majority rule, people would be walking on sewage and think it is normal. There's no doubt Ian Smith was a racist, but nonetheless, what he said was true. Zimbabwe's infrastructure has collapsed to the point where, yes, even in urban centers, people are walking on sewage and thinking it normal. Why are we denying it? Instead of addressing the root causes of the problems, of the failures, to alleviate our people's suffering, we are in denial that it is happening. Who are we kidding? Talk of being pen wise and pound foolish. Ben, we have a problem here.
Good day to you and good day to our viewers. Thank you for joining us. I think Zimbabwe's case is really sad. You're looking at a situation where those in power really don't care what happens to those below them. And then you find out that, the so-called wise that are, supposed to try and look for a way out are just blundering from pillar to post, blaming the outside world and so forth for our own shortcomings, which makes it very difficult for a situation to be fixed. Because when somebody is in denial, they don't fully comprehend their problem. And that way, they will not find the right solution to the problem. Hence, you find, we have been having all sorts of strategies going around, and now all sorts of movements going around. It's just becoming, sad and pathetic to watch as things develop every day. The situation is not getting better; it's getting worse. And the hope that and the solution that we need urgently is a far distant cry. It's just it's terrible. And I agree with what you said. I mean, we look as if we are making the right decisions, but not knowing that we're just making the whole situation worse. I don't know how it's going to end. It's just tragic and disheartening to see us blundering from pillar to post. 45 years is a very long time. You would have thought, we could be somewhere closer to finding a solution, but we are so far.
Well, here is a video clip of Jealous Mawarire explaining a problem that we all know.
And you have another shocking example. Do you know for every call that you make, For every call that you make, 5% of the cost of that call goes to what is called the health fund. Did you know about that? Yes. From June 2017, it has been like that. And that fund, that tax was put in to raise funds to invest in hospitals. And let's take, for instance, just last year, the total number of minutes that subscribers used and the data that they used amounted to 770 million United States dollars. If you read the financial reports of these mobile and data telecommunications companies, 770 million in the cost of airtime and the cost of data. And 5% of that gives you 35 million. This is only last year. Where did the 35 million, which hospital got the 35 million? Have you ever even heard his government explaining to us where the 35 million has gone? There's no explanation. And this is 35 million. And if you go back until, let's say 2018, when he was in office, let's forget about the 6 months between June 2017 and December 2017. Let's start from 1 January 2018 up to where we are, or up to 31 December 2024. How many $35 million tranches did we get as a country from the health tax that we charge to every call that is made, or for every megabyte of data that you buy? 770 million, and 5% of that, 35 million. 35 million is, you spread it in the 7 years that he has been in power. How much is that? Or 6 years? If you are looking at you're looking at around 190 million that was supposed to have been put directly in hospitals. Where is the 190 million? Which hospital has received part of that 190 million? Recently, we're in an unfortunate situation where accident victims, they were wrapped in cardboard boxes and sellotape. This is the state of our hospitals. But there is 190 million that the government collected over the period President Mnangagwa has been president. And this amount of money is being collected under the pretext that it's going to be invested in hospitals. And how much of the 190 million was invested in our hospitals? If our hospital had a capital injection of 190 million, will you have had people being wrapped in cardboard boxes and sellotape? No, precisely not. 190 million is a lot of money. I think these hospitals could have been transformed tremendously.
You just need to have those images of the accident victims just on the screen, so that those who have not seen them can actually have them.
So I'm telling you about a healthy fund that I have interest in. I trusted that, and I managed to find out that only last year this government collected 35 million United States dollars, not Mazik, and they should have that. Could have been the best staffed, and they could have been the best equipped in terms of the medication and in terms of the facilities there, because the money is there. The monies are being collected from the people, but where is the money going to? Where is?
Well, the real tragedy here in Zimbabwe is that the people of Zimbabwe themselves know of all these details, know of the rampant corruption and abuse of the nation's resources. And yet, it's like water off a duck's back. We hear about it, we shrug our shoulders and go on. We have had a corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical regime for the last 45 years. And it shows. Zimbabwe is a failed state because we have had a corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical regime running the nation's affairs for the last 45 years. ZANU-PF has rigged the elections to stay in power. That is at the root of our problem. And we have not done ourselves any favors by allowing this to continue for the last 45 years. Denying it and pretending that it didn't happen. And indeed, with some people, they almost think it is unpatriotic to admit our failures. It's only helped the ZANU-PF regime and its corrupt, incompetent, and utterly useless MDC sidekick to stay in power. We don't seem to learn. Good governance is everybody's responsibility. Those who are in power must be held to account. Democracy is the government of the people, for the people, by the people. That can only become a reality if we accept the responsibility of holding those in positions of power and authority to account. And this does not only mean ZANU-PF, but the opposition too. This message has got to be sent and driven home if we are ever going to change and end the suffering of the people of Zimbabwe. Ben.
You were always posting a quotation by Kwame Nkrumah that says, "Seek ye first the political kingdom, and all these other things, the economic, the social factors, will fall in place." Zimbabwe's problem is that we cannot hold free, fair, and credible elections. Thus, we cannot get accountability from those in public office. Because, like you said, they are not a government for the people, by the people. But we must also highlight to say, despite not having free, fair, and credible elections, Zimbabweans have been participating in rigged elections, knowing fully well that this very next day they are going to be crying about the rigging, crying about the whole process, that there was no transparency, yet they knew. So the problem now is not only the people that are rigging the elections, no. It is the people who are participating in rigged elections, knowing fully well, and not just, for the past few years, it's been a 45-year-long thing that they have been doing. And they know that the result will be ZANU-PF rigging the elections and getting political legitimacy. That is where our problem is as well. ZANU-PF rigs the elections. Yes, that's a problem, a big, big problem. But participating in rigged elections, after you have been warned, and not warned by just us only, SADC has warned, AU has warned, the EU has warned. But, funny enough, Zimbabweans seem to know better. And this is why our knowledge and our knowing better has taken us 45 years going round and round in circles. And these are 45 years and in counting, because we do not see a solution in the horizon anytime soon. There is nothing right now. We're just blundering from pillar to post. Whoever comes, like I said, with a strategy, or whoever comes with a movement, we are all there. We are all there. But the solution has been given. It's not that we do not have a solution. A solution has been given, but it is not the solution that we want, because we think we know better. So we deserve to be in this position. Sadly, that is the truth.
Well, I would like to play this video clip of the recent media coverage of the demolition of houses in Ruwa.
Ini kutaura chokwadi zanuka yandirwadza kana wakuru wedu isusu ngwaendewo kukuru wawo kuti wachisvika kuna president zanu inondirwadza kana ichiita maitiro aitiri kuita
sei vanhu vacho musangano vasiri kutiona unoti tagara tiri pamusangano pamberi nezano pamberi but tozoona kuti pamberi nezano hapana zvaikutishandira mudara.
Kuri kunzi nhasi masangano emukuru wenyika mukoma magara nawo pasi muri vaviri, mungada kuvaudza kuti mashoko ekuti chii?
Ndinoudza kuti vanhu vamuri kutuma imimi imbavha.
Upresident kuvhoterwa nevanhu kuti uve panzvimbo ibasa riya, hausi umambo. Vana venyu vamunoshungurudza ava vanokupandukira.
Musangano wakatirasisa ende isusu tichatori mayuthi acho, isusu tichatori mayuthi daitomira munomu mayuthi weti daidai tonzima tatopamwa tatakupiwa mayuthi tatapiwa masitendi edu ende pakatanga kutika zvinhu tasingarare mumba tairara pabhumugedha tichichengetedza musha but musha wacho wakazosvika pakuparara.
That is the tragedy of Zimbabwe. The truth of the matter is ZANU-PF is a party that rules by fear and ignorance. And per se, it has got to maintain the fear, the stronghold on the people, keep them poor and desperate, so that they are totally dependent on ZANU-PF. There is absolutely no justification for ZANU-PF demolishing houses in these areas like Ruwa. Some of these people, they will tell you they'd stayed there, they'd built those houses, and they'd lived in those houses for the last 10 years or more. The question one has got to ask is, why were these people allowed to build those houses, complete them, if their being in those houses was illegal? This is deliberate. These people are given title deeds or their sold stands by somebody, and there is no certainty of your ownership. If somebody else comes along, they may tell you that whatever you did was illegal. And it's just meant to keep people on their toes. This is even more pronounced in the rural areas. ZANU-PF has denied the people in the rural areas the right, the title deeds to own even the 10, 20 square meters of land on which their rural homes are built. Why? Because ZANU-PF does not want the rural people to have a foothold on the economy. Economic empowerment, the party fears, may well lead to political empowerment. And ZANU-PF cannot accept that. Ever since the country's independence, the rural areas have been ZANU-PF's stronghold for no other reason than that the party does not allow anybody else to campaign in the rural areas. And it doesn't allow the rural people to be economically empowered for fear they would demand political empowerment. So they are caught up in this vicious cycle where they are totally dependent on ZANU-PF, and the regime is deliberately keeping them poor to retain power over them. We need to grow up and realize that Zimbabwe is a failed state and address the root causes of the failure. All those who try to sweep the root causes under the carpet, under the pretext that we cannot criticize our leaders, are not doing the country any favors. They are the ones who are undermining any hope of good governance in Zimbabwe. Ben, do you want to give your closing remarks?
In closing, I would want to say, all these symptoms that we are seeing, the destruction of property, the looting, the corruption, and so forth, this is just a situation where there is no political stability. And again, Kwame Nkrumah said, seek ye first the political kingdom, and all these things will be added, will fall in place, the economic, the social, and so forth. A solution to Zimbabwe's problem has been given over and over again. We have refused that solution because we want to do it our way. And our way has proved that it is not working because we've been doing our way for the past 45 years. And I think to anybody that has half a brain, it is now time to realize that we have failed. Our way has failed. Let us try the way that has been advised to us and possibly get ourselves out of this hellhole. Possibly enjoy all these economic and social activities like a normal country. The choice is not with ZANU-PF. The choice is with us. What are we going to do? Are we going to continue with our way and our little strategies, or we are going to go with what the international community has said we do, and with their help, we can at least try and find a solution? It is just my thought that we would choose the latter and get ourselves out of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. It is truly tragic that in this, the 21st century, anyone should be living in a structure like that. And yet, millions of Zimbabweans call this home. not out of choice. They are the victims of a regime that is holding them back for its own selfish political gain. ZANU-PF is deliberately denying the people in the rural areas title deeds to even a few square meters on which their mud hut is built. Because if they had the title deeds, they would have the confidence to build a more decent homestead for themselves, to dig a well to make sure that their family have got clean water to drink, to plant fruit trees in the yard, knowing fully well that even if they should decide to move to another area, they can sell the improvements on that property and recover something from it. ZANU-PF is keeping Zimbabweans poor for its own selfish political reasons. Zimbabwe is a failed state. We must address the root causes of the failure and not be obsessed about pretending that the country is doing well. That all those who say that Zimbabwe is a failed state are liars. It is tragic that anyone in this day and age should call such a structure their home. Worse still, that the government, the very authorities who are supposed to work for them, are the ones who are deliberately keeping them in abject poverty. Food for thought. Thank you very much, those of you who were able to join us. And I hope you'll be able to join us again in future. And have a good night.